Hey everybody. This week there is a huge amount of manifestation energy in the air. I mean a huge amount. I have actually been feeling this manifestation energy for the last several weeks, and I'm sure it's going to go on for several weeks more at least. However, this week it is definitely much stronger, which means that this week is a wonderful opportunity to plant those seeds of manifestation. The ground on a spiritual level is really fertile for you to plant manifestation seeds to get what it is that you like to bring forward in your life. This could have to do with the Sagittarius full moon that we just had. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, I'm not an astrologer. I think I have seen some things online referencing that, but it seems like it's a bit more complex. So if there is an astrologer who's listening and you're able to speak to that, maybe you can bring some clarity around that for everybody. I don't know enough about it to say that, but I think it could be related. This week, though, is just a really good time for you to plant those seeds. Manifestation is something that I actually learned it kind of by accident, if you want to know the truth. Some years ago, many years ago, when I first started to develop my relationship with the divine, truly developing it in the form of praise and worship. That's how I would have qualified it at that time. And this was with who I know to be Yeshua now. And so that relationship started with me mostly doing prayer and worship back then is what it really was. But the more I did that, there was a lot of petitioning and a lot of crying and a whole lot of stuff because life was rough for me at that point. But the more that I did this, eventually I find myself in this space of complete and total silence. And the more I began to do this, the bigger those spaces of silence became. This was a period in my life when I would spontaneously wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning every single day. I would wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock during the God hour or the ambrosial hours, depending on what tradition you follow. And it was such a beautiful, wonderful time for me. I think about it frequently because it really was a beautiful time for me. A lot of healing. But in that space, as things begin to get broader and broader, the silences begin to get broader and broader. And I would just sit there and marvel at this magnificent, wonderful, divine, universal energy. The longer I sat there, the more I began to recognize how infinite this energy is and how much we actually do not know about it, and that we do not and cannot completely understand and comprehend this amount of love and breadth and depth and beauty. Like, we just cannot. But there were times when I would sit there and I would have a thought, just like a thought about something that would be nice to have. And suddenly it would show up in my life. I didn't even ask for it. It was just a thought, or just a desire. And then suddenly there it was. And at the time I qualified that as an answer to prayer. And we can call it that. There's a difference, though, in my experience between answered prayers and manifestation, because prayers aren't always answered. Manifestation always is. And the reason prayers aren't always answered is because there is a part of the manifestation that is missing. And so I'd like to give you all of those tools today to help you to be able to manifest and bring forth into your experience those things that you want and should have in your life. Let's talk about manifestation. I define manifestation as bringing the immaterial into the material. In my experience, everything happens at a spiritual or energetic level before it manifests in the physical world. There's nothing that exists today, there's nothing that will exist in the future that hasn't or doesn't already exist in the spirit or the energetic realm. Manifestation is tapping into that energy and bringing it forward into our awareness in the physical world. And this is a principle that has been practiced for centuries. There's a book called The Master Key System. If you've not ever heard of it, it talks about this very principle. And this book is hundreds of years old. But there are ancient texts that talk about it as well. If you are a person who follows the Bible, when it mentions calling those things that be not as though they were, it's talking about manifestation. When it mentions faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, that is a manifestation principle. So this stuff goes back a long way, but you got to understand the tools in order to make it work for you. Manifestation is bringing the immaterial into the material. And the first key to that is consciously knowing that you can actually manifest things. It's bringing that into your conscious awareness. If you don't know you can manifest things, you're going to be manifesting them, but they're not going to be things maybe that you wish to manifest, because we're manifesting all the time, whether we realize it or not. We actually are. Bringing that into your conscious awareness, though, is going to make a big difference in what you are manifesting. So being conscious of it is the first thing. Now, if you're watching this video, I gather that you're already conscious of it. But if you weren't conscious of it before, you're certainly conscious of it now, right? So let's move forward with that. The next thing is getting very clear about what it is that you want, writing it out on a list, making sure that you know exactly what it is. So let's say that you're looking to manifest a car. Let's just use that as an example. You want to write out very clearly and very specifically what that car looks like, the color, the make, the model, the year, what are the features that this car has. The more specific you can get, the better. The better it's going to be for you. So get as specific as you can. Write it out if you want to, but if you keep it in your head, that's fine too. Like I said, if it's a desire in your heart, you can manifest that without even defining all of these things, because there were times in my experience where I just had a desire in my heart. Like I didn't even have it outlined. It wasn't even conscious. It was just a desire, and then there it was. But if you want to do this consciously, being very clear about what it is that you want is very, very important. So you can write that out. And then once you've done that, you're going to take some time to get quiet and to actually begin to visualize that thing. You're going to see that car, see yourself sitting in that car, see yourself driving that car, and you're going to experience it like it's actually happening. What does it feel like to drive this car? What does it feel like to go onto the lot and pick out the car, to see the car, to pick it out, to sign the deal? What does all of that feel like for you? This part is really important. It's feeling like you have it already is what is one of the greatest keys. This is where the prayer piece often gets missed because we're not feeling it. This emotional piece is energy, and it's bringing that energy from the immaterial into the material experience so that you now are identified with it. You are matching the energy of actually owning that car. And as long as you can match that energy and you can maintain that energy, you can bring it into your physical experience. I've done this again and again and again. I coach people on this and they've had great success. And it's not my thing. This is not something that I came up with. These are universal laws that are in operation. So many people beyond me have been, like I said, this stuff goes back hundreds and thousands of years. It's just getting the formula down of knowing how to do it. And I'm just one of the people who have figured it out. So I want to share this with you. There's plenty of people out there doing this, and they do it in various different ways. I'm giving you the method that I've used that has worked very effectively for me. And that is to be very clear about what it is that I want. And then to sit in an energy space of feeling that thing, knowing that I already have it, right? Like I'm at a point where I just know, like, again, there's nothing that happens in the natural that is not already in the spirit. So if it's in the spirit, it's mine. I have it. I already have it. So now I just want to sit in the space of like, oh my gosh, this feels so good to have this car, driving this car. Like it's feeling the experience of actually having or doing or being whatever it is that you want to manifest. It's actually feeling that experience. Now, for me, I usually do this first thing in the morning because that's how I started. First of all, like I started at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, you do not have to get up at 2 or 3 a.m. for this to work for you. As soon as you wake up in the morning is a wonderful time for you to actually practice this for 5 or 10 minutes when you wake up, just closing your eyes and feeling this experience. There are times when I actually will record it on my phone. Like if there's something in particular that I want, an experience, for instance, that I want, I will record that and what it feels like, and I will record it in the space of gratitude. So I will be expressing gratitude and thankfulness for it as I'm doing the recording. So for instance, let's say there's a particular job that you're going after or a particular position you'd like to have. It's recording that going, oh, I'm so happy and grateful that I have this position. And I'm so grateful that this position allows me to be the best version of myself, and that this position allows me to show up as my true self, and it aligns with every area of my life, and it allows me to be prosperous while I'm still able to do what I've been destined and designed to do in this experience. I'm so grateful and thankful for that. And you can record that and you want to feel that energy behind it as you're doing that recording. And And then in the morning when you wake up, you can just play it and sit there and listen and sit with that energy space of actually experiencing what it feels like to have and be that particular thing. And you want to do that until it shows up. And then what you want to do is maintain that level of energy. Take it with you throughout the course of the day. This is a practice. So certainly there will be times when you may fall out of that energy space, and that doesn't set you back at all. If you fall out of that space, don't get upset about it. Just find your way back into that space as soon as you can to maintain that energy frequency. You will often hear this referred to as maintaining a frequency. In order to bring something that is not currently in the natural, something that is existing in the spirit or the energetic realm, in order to bring that into your physical experience, you want to match the frequency or match the energy of that thing. If you can match the frequency or the energy of it, it's yours. And you may not be living at that frequency yet. And that's okay. If you can get in the space of feeling that energy behind it, even if you don't believe you can have it, as long as you can get in the space of feeling it and you can maintain that frequency, I promise you this, I've done it again and again and again. Now, if you can believe it, it'll happen even faster. If you can believe that it's something that you can or should have, it'll happen even faster. But either way, if you're sitting with that energy and you're able to maintain that frequency of whatever that thing is, then you'll be able to bring it in. I want to qualify something here because when I work with people, every now and then they'll come to me and say, I want to manifest a relationship. I'm using this one specifically because this one happens quite often with people. Manifesting a relationship is beautiful, and you actually can do that. I've been manifesting relationships for many years at this point. So you can actually do that. I will say this, the particular relationship that you manifest will occur at your level of conscious awareness. Depending on what you consider to be a good relationship, that is what you'll be able to manifest. In my experience, that's kind of what it has been. And that can be a practice. You can get better and better at that as you move through your process or whatever. So be very clear about the relationship that you want as you're manifesting that relationship. Be very clear about what it looks like to you, because the clearer you can be, even if you don't believe you can have it, if you're very clear about what it is, it will show up. And then it becomes up to you to make the right choices and decisions to either move into what is showing up and to be honest about whether or not what you chose to manifest is what is in front of you. Because just because it's in front of you doesn't mean it's a manifestation. It could just be something that showed up. So then you get to decide whether or not you engage in that. And that leads me to my next point. Every now and then, someone will come to me and they will say, I want to manifest a relationship with this particular person. So as I just said, whether or not you engage is entirely up to you. And that is also true of the other person. If you want to manifest a relationship, you can do that. But I would highly suggest that you not tie a person to that, because each person has their own free will in operation, and they have their own sacred path and journey that they're walking out. And if you actually love them, you want them to walk that journey out for themselves. And also, you want to manifest the person who rightfully wants to be with you, who wholeheartedly desires you in relationship, not someone that you're trying to make be with you because it's what you want and maybe it's not what they want. You want the person who wants to be with you. That's what you want. So you can have the relationship, but allow the divine to decide who that actually is, because it may not be what you thought it was going to be. And the person that you think it should be with may not actually be the right person. So just manifest a relationship, write out the qualities, what it is that you want, what it is that you desire, and then watch and see what actually shows up. And then you get to decide if what's in front of you is actually what it is that you asked for. That's entirely up to you. But in the same respect, it's also entirely up to that other person as to how they want to engage or if they choose to engage. Can you manifest an experience with somebody? Absolutely. You can manifest bringing somebody into your experience. We do it all the time. You know, somebody calls you, you're like, I was just thinking about you. And now here you are. Or you see them in the store. Oh my gosh, I was just talking about you the other day. I was just thinking about you. Now here they are. That often is a manifestation. So you can very well do that. Most certainly you can, if you are able to match the frequency of that other individual. And so, of course, you want to consider whether or not you actually want to do that. Is that a frequency that you actually want to match? And quite frankly, doing that on a conscious level is a little bit more of an advanced form of manifestation. So when you're manifesting things, it's very important to be very considerate And what I mean by that is you really want to think through what you are manifesting. Like they say, be careful what you wish for. Is this really something, an experience that you really want to manifest into your physical awareness? Like you really want to be thinking about that. But it can be done. So choose what it is you want. Obviously, you already know that this is what you can have. So, number one, you already know that you can manifest something because we're here, we're talking about it. Number two, be very clear about what it is that you want to manifest. Write it out. Number three, develop a system for that manifestation, whether it's a practice of meditating 5 or 10 minutes in the morning. You can also do this before you go to bed at night. I've heard that's very effective as well. You can do it any time of day you want to, but I do feel like the energy is far more capitalized when you wake up and right before you go to sleep. I really do believe that, and I've heard that from other people as well. And from my experience, I know that if you do it in the morning, it's incredibly effective because that's usually when I do it, and it always works for me. But you can do it any time of day. I've done it at various times of the day also, but I seem to be able to tap in a lot better just in those ambrosial hours for whatever reason, or right when I wake up in the morning. So again, be aware that you can do it. We know that. Be very clear about what it is that you want. Have a practice of either meditating in the morning, in the evening, whatever time of day, and feeling what it's like to have that thing. Vision boards are a great way to do this as well. Do a recording and listen to that recording and sit with the experience of feeling what it's like to have that thing, and then maintain that frequency, maintain that level of energy, carry it with you throughout the day for as long as you can. And if you come out of it, just take the time to get back in it. And sooner or later, that thing will come to you once you've planted those seeds. It will grow, it will sprout, I promise you. I've seen it again and again. I've done it time and time again. So that is what is available to you this week. So I hope you will take advantage of that. And I hope this information has been helpful for you. If you have more questions or you need anything else, I'm available. Feel free to put a comment in the comment section. You can reach out to me and I will answer questions as I am available and as I can do so. And I just want to thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful week of planting seeds and beginning the process of manifesting what it is that you'd like to have in your life. And I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. And as always, may you ever live inspired. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.